is up? What is up? It's Big Cheds. I hope everybody's doing well. A warm hello and a heartfelt thank you. Thanks for hanging out with me here today. It's 12/6/2024. This is part of the quick update series here on YouTube. I'm at Cheds Trading. Make sure you've watched the Masterclass series. Soak up the rest of the content. And, of course, check me out on Bitcoin Live and Big Cheds on Twitter. Hope everybody's doing well. These are real quick market updates, probably 10, 15 minutes. I'd like to touch base with you, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I don't have a lot of time for requests. I'll try to get to them here and there. But I love the feedback. I love the comments. And it's great interacting with the community and adding value and being here. If you want to show some love, if you want to show your support, hit like, hit subscribe, and make sure you have notifications so you know when I'm going live. I'm going to run this YouTube channel up to 100K subs. So Bitcoin's, it's a very interesting spot in Bitcoin because Ethereum is strong, but Bitcoin's still really strong. And I think a lot of people were spooked out by yesterday's candle, and we'll walk through a little bit of the lower time frame action of how we got there. I picked out a couple tweets to discuss. So, for example, that massive LTF. So what does that mean, LTF? LTF's low time frame and a quick drop to 91.5. And so how did we get there? And we kind of followed our way through the 4-hour channel with the throwback and then setting the range peak circa 98.5. Pardon me. And then we broke out. We had a real clean breakout. And we were in blue sky territory. And at that point, I think a lot of people started to go long at 100K, which is fine. But you have to manage your risk. And thinking now we're going to go to 150K or 200K or whatever. But there was no price history up here, right? It's really hard to set a target. You can use a fib level, you can use, stuff like that. But, there's no price history up there. So there's not much you can really do except look at the levels below. And we've got 98.5. And what we saw was the price coming back and starting to retest the range peak, right? Starting to retest the range peak. And you're taking, as I explained in my video yesterday, you're taking that trade. You're attempting to buy here on the throwback, managing your risk, maybe 97K or something nearby, because every time you come back and you revisit a level, that's a clean throwback. That's a nice clean trade setup. I'm actually writing about that right now. I'm working on the 4th book, Trading Journal. But in any case, what was interesting is it not only failed to hold there, we had a kind of a shock dip back to the prior range high, right, where the price held end of November here. And look at that lower wick, right? So 4-hour doesn't really do it justice. I think this is even here's 15-minute candle. 15-minute candle, 98K down to 91. And this is baptism by fire. If you're new to Bitcoin, you haven't been trading it for that long, you don't really expect these types of moves. But if you've been here for a minute, I've been here since 2017, you see them, they're interesting. Often there's a lot of opportunity after volatility. You kind of reset the market, you reset open interest. You do a lot of things. So what do we think now? We had that shock dip. I really would like to see Bitcoin back up above 98.5. It's there now, which is good. And that's going to be kind of my lower time frame line in the sand. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that level. But we've got some moves here, for example. Let's talk about this. Talk about the shock dip. So December 5th candle and the November 10th. I was looking back at this. Everyone wants to call top. But you can't do it yet. There's no data. But the daily, not enough data. The daily candle is interesting. It's a high wave candle, big upper and lower shadow candle. So I was just kind of looking back for fun, because that's what I do for fun, is I look at the Bitcoin chart. My wife thinks I'm crazy, and I am crazy. But here we had kind of an outside bar, pseudo high wave candle as well, similar on Wednesday the 10th. Which essentially had a similar kind of flow to it, where it represented like a short-term breakout and a pullback. A short-term breakout and then an upthrust, like an inability to hold. But it's a big time different context because, again, with time frames, you're looking at price movements within time frames. And the weekly trend was much weaker back then than it is now. Right here's where we had that November 10th candle right here. And it was good, but this is different structure. This is in relation to an early, it was a preparing to double top. It was in relation to an earlier thrust in the year. and you can see this, the sideways Bollingers. Here, we've just been massively riding. We've been riding the upper Bollingers in a massively bullish move, and this is just after a major breakout. So it's a different context if you're trying to draw that connection. I think I saw some people talking about it, and I decided to look into it. So the guy says alpha. Thanks, man. You know, I just do my best. But it's a different context. The weekly trend is a lot stronger. So even with that crazy candle, we're going to still play it level to level. Definitely 92K, I think, is going to be the line in the sand, or 91.5, roughly, this area. Below that, you can start to get concerned about a deeper run, but you're pretty much buying every dip above. And again, the ideal level to hold would be 98.5. You know, we're seeing Bitcoin, then we've seen Ethereum starting to break out a little bit. We've seen Ethereum trying to rally versus Bitcoin. We'll see. I mean, this is another underside retest. I saw a lot of people saying, here it goes, and Ethereum's really turning. We'll see. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see if we can really flip that level. And that's kind of those are my general thoughts. Those are about 5 or 6 minutes of my general thoughts to start. These are quick updates. Of course, I'm doing the full market report Sunday night at Bitcoin Live, Wednesday night, Sunday night. Let's check in with the chat room. I want to say hi. I can't read all the comments, and I certainly can't respond to them, but it's good to see everybody. Chocolate Amar, David, Slawik Muhammad, Dreamer William, Kazjin, David, Amar, a bunch of people, a bunch of familiar names. Thank you for supporting me, folks, and coming every day. So Bilal had asked for us to take a look at FET. Let's take a look at FET. What's up, Bilal? It's good to see you, man. Bilal's a good dude. So I think I have FET on here somewhere. I have a massive list of altcoins that I've kind of been monitoring. Let's add it in here. I know it's an AI play, pseudo AI play, or whatever that means. Let's take a look at it. So look at that. So that's pretty strong. I like the fact it's strong in the fact that it's above the most recent range peak, above that 175 level. But I do want to go to the weekly chart to get a better perspective. Yeah, there's definite momentum here, actually. This is a pretty nice looking chart. I think it's maybe something I want to be talking about at Bitcoin Live. I'm going to bump that one up into the list for now. And that's a nice move. And you can see the significance of being back up above that 175, 180 level for the trend, where the price tried to find support in April. When it fell through, it did an underside retest, which is called a pullback in classical charting, and did another one here. And it's breaking through. And then on the lower time frame, you see that support held on a couple tests after the fact. So this is nice. It's got a rise in EMA 8. FET looks good, Bilal, man. That's a good choice, brother. Okay, Isalik. Let's see give me some interesting questions, and I'll see what I can do. Muhammad says, I appreciate you. Thanks, man. Hey, Isalik. Hey, Cheds. What if the December candle closed near to or higher than the November candle? So what if the December, well, it's too early to talk about a December candle. I mean, it's a couple days into the candle. I don't know what the point of that is. But what if it closes near to or higher than November candle? That'd be good. That'd be bullish. That'd be holding. To answer your question, that would be incredibly bullish. The price needs to consolidate. That's great. And if it can consolidate and pretty much hold most of these gains, ideally hold above 92, that would be unbelievably bullish for the medium to longer, medium term picture. So my answer would be that would be amazing. Folks, hit like, hit subscribe, hit sub. Let's see. Why don't you have your price scale on auto? Is it not on auto? Yeah, let's fix that. I sometimes things get moved around, no doubt. And I move the chart around, so I often have to, quickly hit auto and quickly adjust to things. With these volatile moves we get in Bitcoin, it definitely plays tricks with the charts a little bit. David says, go. Thanks, brother. Thoughts on Doge? All right. Someone says, good morning from Seattle. Thoughts on Doge? Sure, let's take a look at the Doge. The Doge father. That's bullish. It's just still a nice chart. It hasn't really changed. And I've kind of talked about it here and there over the last couple of weeks. It's bullish. It's consolidating near the peak of the range. That's a nice look. No real warning signs. Doge looks pretty good to me, honestly. That's funny. Ape says, let's talk politics. No, I've shown that I know nothing about politics. I've completely abandoned that hobby. I apologize for how stupid I looked And those tweets are all still up there, and any criticism is valid. I'm all trading now, trading education, trading alpha. I'm back to my roots. So you're going to get zero politics from me. Let's see. Let's see here. Someone, Fitness Mensch, said I'm a Bitcoin Live member. Thanks, brother. Is there a huge cup and handle in the weekly Ethereum chart that is currently breaks out? What do you think of this pattern? I mean, it's a nice pattern. I think Bitcoin in the weekly is in the weekly cup and handle. It's broken out of it. I've talked about that. Talked about my measured move being on the logarithmic scale, being roughly 250, 260K in the middle of 2026. So that's my general target for Bitcoin. But if you look at Ethereum, cup and handle, sure. I think that's reasonable. And then you're generally defining your peak of the range. But again, with any pattern, it's not necessarily about what you call it, right? What you're looking for is well-defined levels, reasonably well-defined range peak here, right around 4,500. Then you're looking to see, I mean, you could even call it like an ascending triangle, but it doesn't matter. But you've got well-established overhead with rising demand. You've got continued rising demand, and you have the move into the level, and then a pretty strong higher low here, pretty strong. So you can call that a cup and handle, which means, but if you're a bull, then you say, okay, well, I'm really going to pay attention if we lose this low. It's the whole thing with, if you're going to try to wed yourself to a pattern, you have to know, that was not good. Let's try it again. If you're going to wed yourself to a pattern, you're going to have to know when it fails. So let's try that one last time. So, for example, if let's say there's a head and shoulders and this is your breakout line, if you're a bear, but if the right shoulder invalidates, you have to go long. So any kind of invalidation is important. So if you want to call it a cup and handle, make sure you're drawing your invalidation. So just as a general rule, you always want to draw your invalidation level, even with any thesis. And this is, I think it's reasonable to call that a cup and handle in the weekly, but I don't think it gains you really anything. You've got a rising MA200. So you're going to interpret it as a bullish chart, price action, price rising above the 200. And you can play a clean breakout off of range highs or even local level here, about 4K. You've got other levels to go long on the Ethereum 3,500, 3,800. So it's consolidating in a pretty neat and orderly way. Folks, make sure you've watched the Masterclass webinar series. This video will go into quick market updates. Watch Trading Wisdom. I have 3 books on Amazon. Trading Wisdom, a third of it is free. Trading Quotes is basically the entire thing is free on Twitter. I've tweeted out almost every chapter. The entire cancer memoir is free on right here. Watch every video. I'm a survivor and I was a caregiver. If you want to show love, send a comment. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit notifications, help me, and tell your friends. I want to grind this up to 100K followers. I'll keep doing these every day as long as you folks keep showing some love. And that's it. I'll do another one tomorrow. These are really, really quick updates. Thanks for hanging out, folks. I'm really appreciated that everybody stopped by and said hi. I can't read all the comments, but thank you, folks. I really appreciate you, and we'll talk soon. Big Cheds out.